So guess what? I am back on my usual spot of sitting on my bedroom floor because this is where my window is, and so I like having natural light in my videos. I was gonna make a video today about like some collagen recipes and like some different like healthy food stuff, but I don't have the materials, so I'm gonna save that video for next week. And instead today I'm going to be making a video that's been pretty highly requested from people, which is how to get started in acting. And there are a lot of different approaches to this, but this is just my experience and what I have been told, what I've been taught in school, etc. So there are a couple different routes. I mean, there's if you have gone to school for acting, there's also if you want to go to school for acting, or if you just want to like get straight to it and not like go to college for it, but just kind of start taking acting classes in LA or wherever you are. There's also a different paths towards going towards theater acting versus going towards film acting, and there is so much more like different ways you can do things, but I'm just going to talk a little bit more about like my experience and what I'm doing. So I originally wanted to go to school for theater and do musical theater as a career professionally. That was what I went to school for. I went to Chapman. When I first auditioned to Chapman, I didn't audition into theater. I auditioned into the vocal performance program in the music conservatory because I wanted to get a classical music training and then take that and like be classically trained and then take theater classes later and sort of move to New York, like do the whole Broadway thing. But that's kind of what I wanted to do because I've been doing musical theater my entire life, and I just like the feeling of being on stage. I absolutely loved it. Also, my headshot is on the wall. Like, don't think I'm like weird and narcissistic and like love staring at my face all day. That's just, I put that there as a reminder to myself to like keep chasing my dreams and what I'm doing. Don't like think that I just like have pictures of myself and love staring at my own face. That's why that is there, if you've noticed that. I also have my own tiny little mini Oscar that I got, and this that I got as a gift, which says reach for the stars. So anyway, that's like my little like inspiration corner, if you're wondering what that's about. Anyway, so I went into school for vocal performance, and like I just wasn't feeling it, and like I wasn't happy, and so then I auditioned into theater. Like I auditioned into the theater program while I was at school and got in and did an internal transfer of my major. But then I was still more pursuing like live theater and stage theater and musical theater and stuff, and I was just having so much anxiety, and I like wasn't reaching a lot of success with it, and I like my anxiety was like taking over my joy of performing. And so I was considering like completely switching majors, like not pursuing acting anymore, and like doing something completely different, like broadcast journalism or radio journalism, or just like something where I could still like be a performer in a way, or like a presence, but not acting. And then I had someone invite me to come audition for one of their student films, and they were like, I think you'd be really good at this role, like come audition for this. And I was like, okay, and I did, and I booked the part, and I got so much positive response from it. I started, I had an acting, one of the film teachers at Dodge at Chapman, which is the film school, like tell me I should take this one acting for film class, and I did. And he told me, one of the things he said to me was like, Sierra, like you don't realize how talented you are. And like for him to say that to me like meant so much to me, and I was just like, okay, like this is a sign, like I'm gonna pursue film acting now. So I haven't like always dreamed of being a film actor in LA. I've always wanted to act, but I actually always wanted to do live theater, and I think maybe someday I will again, because I love the feeling of being on stage and doing live theater. But so I decided to pursue film acting. So I did a lot of film classes at Chapman. I started acting in student films. I started building up my reel. I started acting in like little web series, and again starting up this YouTube channel just so I could continue to like be comfortable on camera, learn how to like communicate with people on camera, as well as like, you know, building a social media following, which is so important to this film industry that we have today. So yeah, I started doing that, and then when I graduated, I already had like a really good reel, and that's one of the things that is really important when you're first starting out in a film industry, is like when you're submitting for auditions and looking for agents and all that, you need to have a reel. And what a reel is it's like a 2 to 3 minute clip that's a montage of a bunch of different things you've done. And if you've only done one thing, that can be your reel, or if you've done 2 or whatever, but you have to have a few examples of you acting, because people, I mean, they can like your look from a headshot and they can bring you in for an audition, but they want to see like, how do you look on camera? How do you act on camera? Like, how does your body look? How do you move? How do you talk with people? Like, what can you do? So a reel is a really good way to have examples of that, like on my reel. And I'll throw in a couple clips in this of student films that I've done so you can see. But in my reel, I've got examples of me, you know, in like a bitchy role, in like a girl next door role, me doing comedy, me doing drama. And one of the best ways to get that footage is do student films.
I gotta go, Danny. I'm sorry. You're ruining my life! Danny, you are a selfish child. And you know, I take my apology back.
Look, maybe if you weren't so judgy all the time, then more girls would want to hang out with you. I'm sorry, that came out mean. I don't need your help, okay?
You've reached the voicemail box of Robert Layton. I cannot make it to the phone at the moment. Please leave your name and number at the tone.
Honestly, don't you think it's time to maybe let the music thing go?
I think it's great that he's still pursuing music. He's talented.
Well, sure he is, but at our age, we've got to start considering our careers. I mean, I wanted to be a model, but how meaningless would that have been? You've got to start contributing to society sometime. Do you want to talk?
Talk about what?
Don't you think that I can see that you're lonely?
I'm really happy for you.
Yeah? You know, I've been hoping that him and I could move in together.
I'm sure he feels the same way about you.
Thanks, Annie. That really means a lot. Student films are an amazing way to get footage, and you do have to audition for a lot of them, but it's a lot easier to get a part in a student film than it is in like a big blockbuster movie. If you're not finding success with that, another thing that is a really good idea is just like making your own content. If you're a good writer, or if you have someone else who can write for you, to write a little short for you, if you can find someone who has a good enough camera, you can record some stuff like this. I mean, you could easily shoot something on this Canon camera that I have, like something like that. Or if you have someone who's like in a film school department who could like hook you up with like recording stuff for you, like networking with your friends and like making something together is another really good way to like make your own content. But there's a lot of ways you can go about that, but once you have like little pieces of you in things, that's a really good way. Then you have something that you can like submit to casting directors, or you can submit to, you know, auditions or whatever. Other thing is headshots. Your toolbox is what they call your actor's toolbox, is your resume, your reel, and your headshots. And so your headshots are really important, having good headshots that are not fake. Like they need to look like you. Like if you've got freckles, if you've got a mole, if you've got whatever, like that needs to be on your headshot. Like you obviously want to present a good version of yourself, but like it doesn't, like it should look like you. And you know, again, good headshots will cost money, but like you don't need to drop $1,500 on headshots for your first thing, because when you sign with a manager or an agent, it's very likely that they will want you in a certain look. So like, and they will want you to get headshots with the people that they use. That's very common. So yeah, that is something else you need to have, is good headshots, not like a selfie photo of you or like something that you took on self-timer in your bathroom. Because I've seen it all, and like those don't show like that you are a professional person. And the third thing is a resume. So your resume will show like what you've done, who did it, where was it, also your acting training if you have any. Training is really, really important. Not like you need, you know, a private college education training, but like classes, something that shows that you are studying, like where did you learn how to act, because I mean you can have natural talent, and that's for sure, but there are like technical skills and things that like you need to learn. So whether that's taking classes at like your local theater, or if you're in LA, I mean taking improv classes like at the Groundlings, or like different places where you can improve your craft and continue like getting better. That is so important. And to just like, you know, one of my acting teachers at Chapman used to say, like, it's called going to the bar. Like, you know, a ballerina goes to the bar. Like, you know, even the most professional ballerina still goes back to the bar to like maintain those skills and to stay practicing and all that. And same with taking acting classes, it's really important. So yeah, and you've got your resume, your reel, and your headshots, and those are the 3 things you need. Before you have an agent, you can self-submit things on Actors Access, LA Casting, Backstage. There are different ways you can start submitting for stuff. My movie project that I booked recently, I actually found on Backstage by self-submitting myself to it. And Backstage, you do have to pay for it as a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription, and you pay for it, but you can submit to as many things as you want. Actors Access is free to join, but you do have to like pay to submit to things, and that is unfortunate and it is costly. And then once you book an agent or, you know, a manager, they can help find you things that they will submit you for. And while self-submitting, you kind of have the freedom to, like, you know, submit, I don't know, to this or not submit to this. When you have an agent and a manager, they much more like, if they can book you this audition, you are going. And so then sometimes you have to scramble to like get your shift covered and like stuff at work, like so that you can go. So yeah, those are a couple of the first things to start out that like you need, and like, because it's very hard to just start out like without having any materials, and like having a reel is one of the most important things. And there are some film classes that you can take, you know, pay to take, where you can actually get material from them, where you can have scenes that are recorded and done, and you know, you have the copies where you have that material. So that's really important. So again, there's so many things you can do to get started, and again, like depending on like what you want to do, like it varies. And then once you book small projects, you can then take the material from that small projects, improve your reel, send it out to people, like any connections you have, and you know, when things start going to film festivals and whatnot, like people who will see that and they'll want to know like, oh, who is that? Like, can I work with them? And the other thing, and again, this is not like, again, it depends if you what kind of acting you want to do, but if you want to act in film, you kind of have to be in LA. Like, I don't know, maybe people are probably going to give me flack for that. There are other places, New York, Atlanta, Toronto, like Vancouver, there's a lot of other places where there's a lot of film, but a lot of them cast in LA. LA is like the biggest place for casting for film in the country. So, and again, other countries, that's a different story. Like, I'm just speaking for the US and like my experience, but LA is like the biggest place for casting for sure. And you know, there's also just so much networking stuff, like agents and managers and like meeting people. Like, I mean, LA is huge and you have to drive everywhere, but like living in LA, like that's how you want to start. And that's why there's so many tales of people like picking up and moving to LA. And you definitely need to have another job, like, you know, your survival jobs. I have 5. I have 5 other jobs other than acting. So like, you definitely have to grind and like be very busy all the time with what you're doing, and never, you know, stop working at your goals. But and networking, again, like I've said in previous videos, like networking and taking every single opportunity to network and make a new connection is so important. I will definitely make a part 2 to this video because I've already been talking for like 10 minutes and I don't want to bore you with like a 20-minute video. And I want to throw in a couple of clips of like me and student films and stuff that I've done. But yeah, this is just like the beginnings of advice that I have, and I have so much more. Like I'm going to be making videos about like how to deal with rejection as an actor, how to cry on command, because I've had a lot of people ask me about that, like how you cry on cue, and I want to do a whole video about that I think will be really fun. So yeah, anyway, that's the end of today's video, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again with another video next Sunday. Comment down below what you want to hear about, what you want to see, and I will listen to your suggestions and make new videos. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out my social media if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel down below so you can continue watching all my vids. Thanks so much for being here. See you later. Bye-bye.